Welcome to the Cowboys LA Radio. I'm your host, Eric Trujillo, coming at you with episode number 14. Today's episode, we're going to talk Romo returns, Eagles offense, and a little bit of the Eagles defense. So, Tony Romo returned to practice today, Thursday, full pads. On Wednesday, there was a couple of pictures of him throwing the ball around and just some shorts and a t-shirt. And today, he was in full pads throwing around. He was still limited, but he was in pads throwing around. So what does that bring us to think? Well, looks like he will more than likely be back versus the Browns. If they really want to go conservative, they're probably have him go scout next week. Have him be scout all the whole week, and then return first team snaps versus the Steelers. I do think what happens this weekend is going to play a factor, and not whether, if Dak is going to stay in for good, but just how much cushion do we really have? If we go 6-1 and we can get him to have another week of practice, as just to get into shape and then go first team and open up against the Steelers, going 6-1, gives you room for him to knock off the rust. If we lose to the Eagles, then you might want him to go ahead and knock off that rust versus probably the worst team in the league at this moment, which is the Browns. That way he's ready and primed for the Steeler game, where Big Ben might be back from what it looks like. So that's great news. It is good news. It is great news. Remember that it is okay to support Dak and support Tony. They are both Dallas Cowboys. They are both on our team. One is a young stud rookie who, if need be, I know he can take care of it. And the other is a Pro Bowler, in my mind, Hall of Famer vet who's also a stud, who has a little bit, not a little bit, has a lot more to offer us. And it's okay to think that right now. It is all right as a fan to just go ahead and support both. All right. So let's get into this Eagles offense. I watched each and every one of their touchdowns. And man, have these guys been lucky. First of all, Doug Peterson is a great play caller. Let's get that straightened out. He will come at you with some plays where it's just like, really? You needed all that? For us, first and goal, what do you think it's going to be? There's two plays we're going to call. What are they going to be? Zeke, right? Hand off to Zeke, or okay, I guess three now with Dak that's with Dak in the offense. Hand off to Zeke or QB keep, or throw it up to Death. Those are the three plays we're gonna see first and goal, right? Not with Doug Peterson. Doug Peterson first and goal. Guess what? Play action, a double fake. He'll fake it to the running back. He'll fake it to the receiver coming across on a jet sweep, and then he'll throw it back to the running back for a screen on first down with 3 yards to go on the goal line. This man, after watching each and every one of their touchdowns this season, that's just the way he goes. Each red zone opportunity is for him enough reason to call some of the best plays in his arsenal. Carson Wentz. He's not ridiculously intelligent. What he does have is that he's pretty athletic and he's big and strong, so he can move in that pocket, stand in there, and then he has an arm. He's not deadly accurate, but he has an arm so he can just gun it in, and if the receiver has hands, they make the catch. But he's not pinpoint accurate. It's just he has a very strong arm from watching the tape. Arm is very strong. He's not going to kill you with these dimes, but he is smart. He is a smart quarterback. And then lately, the last couple of games, he's been trying to just pressure it in there, and he's off. His accuracy is not pinpoint, and that's going to give us opportunity to create some interceptions. I do think that we can create at least one out of this game coming up because his arm is so strong, he thinks he can make every throw, and that might work in our favor. Kind of plays to look out for. Shotgun, fakes the run, pulls up, passes. but more than often they do run the inside zone run. Whether it be Matthews, whether it be Sproles. I think Sproles is their deadliest running back that they have. He's still super quick, even though he's aged a bit. Inside zone read and play action. Everything is play action, and you'll see double play actions. You'll see a fake to the running back. You'll see a fake to the jet sweep coming across, and then he's pulling out for a screen or a deep bomb or a 5-yard out. And everything is so complicated. Like nothing is easy to just cover. They'll go 3 tight ends to your right, and then they'll run a screen to one of the tight ends. And another one of their favorite plays is receiver screens. Eagles love receiver screens. After watching all their games up to this point, if you see a bubble, 3 receivers to the left or just 2 receivers, be careful because it might be a bubble screen. That's the basics of this offense. I wish I could tell you that it's complicated in the sense that it all looks the same. Sometimes those are the hardest defenses to plan against because it looks like it's going to be inside zone read. Carson pulls it up, and you got Huff coming across the field, and he hits him for 5-10 yards. It looks like it's going to be like Carson's going to pull it up, so the linebackers drop back into coverage. He actually handed it off. Matthews is on for 5-6 yards. So that's what I say. And they will run a jet sweep to Huff. They will run the screens to Huff. They don't do him that much to Aguilar, but they do love to throw to Aguilar. He loves Aguilar across the middle. He's a bigger body. He's quick. Matthews has hands. After watching the tape, he can catch. But that's Doug Peterson's offense. It's very quarterback friendly. A lot of wheel routes. What that means is tight end out and up, running backs out and up, receivers, one runs a slant, inside receiver goes out and up, and a lot of fakes, a lot of play action. Their inside zone runs. It gives him the opportunity to make the defense not be able to just react, have to think. Did he hand off? Did he not? Did he hand off or did he not hand off? And then he looks for the open man, and his arm is strong enough that if he's open for just a second, he guns it, and there it is. And a lot of the routes, they do go deep, but most of the time it's 5 yards stop, 7 yards stop, slant. He's not making Carson make the play. He's giving Carson an easy pass, a slant, and then he's letting Nelson Aguilar, Michael Huff, Matthews make plays after the catch. And that's all that they're doing on offense. That's all that they've been doing up to this point. So do I think we can stop them? That's the key. Yes, I do. I do think we can stop this offense, just like other teams have done in the past. This Vikings game they just won, it was so frustrating to watch because Sendejo picks off Carson Wentz. He should have had a touch. He should have walked into the end zone if he just runs to his left. Should have been 7-0. And then they make a field goal. Should have been 10-zip at that point. And then they gave up a punt return and made it. It was a big swing in points because it wasn't. Sendejo didn't run it in because Bradford ends up throwing a pick, and that ends up being 3-7 Philly. And then from there the tides just turned. But it could have been 10-0, and they could have clamped up. Because the Eagles got another pick on Wentz, and then Bradford fumbled. So it was just, it was so frustrating to watch that game because, Vikings could have put them out. And that puts us up without Lane Johnson. I think we can do some damage. Hopefully David Irving's ready to go. Put DeMarcus Lawrence on there. Put him on that side. And let's hit this kid because we can definitely make him throw the ball, make some mistakes, throwing into coverage. Now, what I am worried about, their defense is... This is the best defense. This is the real best defense we've played up to this point. I think the Giants have been number one, and this is going to be probably equal. The Giants and the Eagles are very smart. They set up to stop the Cowboys' offense. They figured we are the top. We run the East. They did what they had to do, whether it be via draft or via free agency, to stop the run. I've seen people say excited, well, the Redskins ran on them. Well, actually, looking back at the tape, there was a really long run, and when they did have long runs, it was that Fletcher Cox was not in there and Benny Logan were not in there. and they would catch them off, and then boom, they'd break off big runs. The Lions they already had a little bit better game against them, and Benny Logan was in the play or was not in the play. So was Fletcher Cox, but the way that they did it was running outside. And it's weird because sometimes Fletcher Cox will play left defensive end, and they'll put Benny Logan in the middle, along with Vinny Curry and Connor Barwin, Graham. They'll get after it. This defense, their front four is really good, and then their backers, no joke either. Kendricks sheds almost every person that's on him. Kendricks will shed it. He can also cover. I don't ever remember Malcolm Jacobs being a good cover guy. I saw more as a hitter and a big hit safety and run stuffer, but man, this guy can cover. He really can. The good news is he can't cover everybody. He's either got to choose whether it's going to be Beasley or Witt, and we'll go the opposite route wherever they go. And I don't think Malcolm could take Beasley, so that's a mismatch there if they want to put it out at that point. Their best DBs, I would say they're both the same. Nolan Carroll's definitely the best one. They have the kid from LSU doing pretty good out at safety as well. This is a good defense, but they have not played an offense like ours. They have not played an offensive line like ours, and they have not played a running back like Ezekiel Elliott this year. So something's got to give. But Benny Logan has not practiced the last 2 days. That could be huge because him and Fletcher Cox at the D tackle spots cause havoc. They can shut down the run. They play a 4-3, and usually the D ends are Connor Barwin and Graham. Those two guys, oh man, they can get that corner. They play a little bit wider than you usually would, but it's because those other two guys in the middle, Cox and Logan, they're run stuffers, they're playmakers, and it leaves a lot of space for the ends to be able to just go free on the outside. Teams did have some good production against them. Do I think that we can have that kind of production? Absolutely. But this is going to be a rough game. After the Bengals game, I said, hey, I'm not going to bet against us anymore. I do think it's going to be a rough game. I do think we can come out with the victory, but it's going to have to be a flawless game. None of this, what the Vikings did, or, if they give us the ball, we got to capitalize, whether that be a touchdown or a field goal, because Doug Peterson will find a way to score some points. He will find a way to score some points. So we got to do our best to just kick them in the mouth. We always receive. I don't think we've kicked off once this year so far, so we're going to receive this weekend. And what we got to do is we got to drive down, kick them in the mouth, and say, yo, this is a new year. We're going to road grind you until the end of the game. That's what we have to do. Defeat Ezekiel Elliott, find the mismatches on the offensive side. They can't cover everybody. They have fairly good corners, but they can't cover everyone. And if they want to leave Dez one-on-one, someone's going to be open. They're going to put 8 in the box, that's for sure. From what I saw, every time it was 8 in the box, 8 in the box, 8 in the box. So we're going to have opportunity there. We're going to see if Dez is really healthy again. We're going to see if they can cover Cole one-on-one. And we're going to see if Bryce or Terrence can make some plays for us. Because they're going to have 8 in that box. I guarantee it. The game's going to be this Sunday, 5:30 p.m. So we are on primetime TV. It's the last game of the day. Wherever you're at, it's in the third slot. But on the West Coast, it's going to start at 5:30 p.m. So 8:30 p.m. on the East Coast. This is a big game. And regardless of what happens, support Dak. We're here for him. He's been killing it. He's going to continue to kill it. He's going to have a 0 turnover game if we're going to win this. If we're going to win this game, 0 turnovers. He's going to have to do that because that defense on the other side is very stout. Enjoy the game. Thank you for tuning in. I'll be back next Tuesday with the pre-game, with the after the game coverage. Thank you so much for listening to the Cowboys LA Radio. I'm your host, Eric Trujillo. Tweet me any questions, anything that you want to see on tape. Let me know and I'll be happy to take a look at it at LA Cowboy 1986. Thanks for listening. Have a good night.